Alright, welcome to our podcast. My name is Chris, and I am your host for most of our episodes. Here's how our show will go. We have different guest co-hosts every episode. We try to have different themes and a debate topic in the end, which you can comment down below for the answers. And sometimes our debate topics can either be either on a serious note or randomly comedic, which is all the fun parts. I'm also asking our guests some questions around diversity, human dignity, and diversibility, and also try not to sound boring at the same time, and also around other topics that may come to mind during our show tonight. And as further ado, I'm going to introduce my co-host for today's episode.
My name is Dom. I am the first person to be on this. Thank you very much for having me.
Good. Now, before we begin, I know I'm clapping my hands. It's going to sound so awkward because we are socially awkward, and that's the whole point of our entire show.
We the outcasts.
Socially outcasts, and that's basically who we are as human beings. To add some more points to this, I'll give you a bit of little points about myself as well. Yes, I am born with an intellectual disability. I am on the autism spectrum. I'm not going to go into that because that gets too much confusing. I was also born with a rare learning difference. That's how I'm going to say it. I just learn at a slower pace than others in different things other than technology and computers, which is I'm more further advanced. And I am also quite athletic, and I think that'll be it for now, but every episode there'll be different more things you'll learn about me. And now for my co-host, I want to say anything else about you that you do and like and hobbies?
How do I say this? I'm different from everyone else. With him learning at his own pace, same with me, but with me, something has to also interest me, or I'm really not gonna care. That with how I am, that is a big part of why I am who I am sometimes, is because I let stuff that I'm interested control me, not stuff I'm not interested in.
That's pretty much normal for all of us as well. The whole point of this is also to give an idea of different people with different abilities. That's why instead of saying disabled, it's more you're differently abled, not disabled, which is going to be our slogan, I think. Yeah.
One thing I like to say is, with me anyways, I live with insanity. Makes it more interesting with life.
And of course, okay, and so what we were talking about? Oh, right, us being different. For us and for the two of us, we both are different than each other. That's how we both became friends, because we both like the same things. We also go around about our lives, about even going through elementary and high school, with then being intellectually different. And of course, here we'll also give you guys a bit of more of an info on how we are as actual people and how we grew up and how we did stuff. And for our show as well, we do want to keep things private. We do want to keep locations private. We do want to keep names private as much as we can. And it's also a big deal. It's also privacy is also a huge thing that we want to keep. But we do also want to share our stories as much as we can and keep things plain language and just so it's completely awesome.
The language might get changed for some topics depending on how it is, but either way, it will be, in a way, child-friendly.
We're going to try to be child-friendly, or we'll probably change it to being, like YouTube's new rules, which is the, because of COPA.
Oh, let's not go over Kappa, or whatever you want to call it. I have strong feelings for it.
Let's just say that'll be our new topic for next week.
Yes, bring me in next week for this. I have strong words.
Yeah. So basically, as part of our entire series, I'll be giving our guests some questions. So here's the first one: is what are the hardest parts of living with a disability, or better wording is diversibility?
Some of the hardest things is people underestimating you for who you are, not with your disability, keeping you away from some things. Like me with mine is with my learning, I learned English and math differently than other people, and I was criticized because of it. I learned English and math with Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering. That is how I learned English and math, was reading the cards, being passionate about the game. That is how I learned English and math, and I've been judged for it and criticized, and also bullied in grade 6 and 7.
With that as well, for me as well, to answer the question is for myself, is for me the hardest part is living with a disability. For me has been, even with him, same thing. For me, math and English were my worst subjects. But for me, growing up in elementary, I always did the same work as everybody else in the room. Yes, I did go to the resource room. There are times when I needed it, and I also had an SEA or EA as well, helping me with our works, which
Same thing.
same for him. But with us, we both knew that living with a disability, the hardest part is also trying to find ways how we can stand up for ourselves when even our EAs tell us you can't do something just because you're disabled, or just because they think you just can't.
Or like with friends and that, trying to make friends with some people is tough. I have a small friend group that I am thankful for because they accept me for who I am and with my disabilities.
You seem to have read ahead to the next question, but that's
Oh.
actually perfect. That was a good segue.
Sorry!
That's a good segue. The next question is, have you ever lost friends due to your disability? And I can answer that for myself is yes, I have. Due to back in elementary, my friend circles basically grew and shrank over the years, and I ended up, by the time I was about grade 6, grade 7, my friends ended up becoming also, were all mostly female, which was absolutely, some people will say, oh, that's great. It was, I mean, back then, but it's because they actually protected me and they actually knew I was just like the rest of them. But even...
Hard to find people like that these days.
Oh, yeah, okay. We apologize for our background noises and everything else in this podcast. We apologize. It's just our space.
We will try and get them removed later, but just
yeah,
over time.
We sometimes have random people walking in, walking out, and just being loud, and we have to put up a little note that says, quiet, we're recording.
Yeah. But
so
to add with his, like, for me, my first crush ended up hating me because I did not perform how I should during a science class. I failed that science class, and she almost failed because most of it was group work. So, yeah.
Okay. So the next question I do have is, how was life going through high school? For me, being now out of high school for the last couple of years, being now an alumni of the high school I went to, my story basically is for grade 8, 9, and 10, I was put into a resource room, aka what is called the Life Skills program, which is not like the room for the more students with the severe disabilities, but it's more like the next level up. It's like the next one up. And for life skills, they basically discriminated me and basically treated me like I was actually the R word, which we'll get into in a bit. And for them treating me a bit like that, it derailed my entire thinking of what I can and can't do, and they tore me out of doing the regular classwork, which I was already totally accustomed to and could actually do it, but also had to do it at different paces. But they didn't think I could do any of the regular schoolwork than anyone else could, and it just got worse and worse. But by the time I was in Math 9, now after we found out this issue was, by grade 9, I was put into all the grade 8 academics, so I was pretty much a year behind the rest of my classmates I came into the school with, which was pretty much BS. But for that is, I also made friends who are also a grade younger than me, which kind of actually worked because, it doesn't really matter how old.
It doesn't matter how old you are, even if your friends are younger, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's pretty much
most of my
same.
friends are younger, and with me graduating this year, I'm having to leave them behind. It's depressing in a way, but move on. And with this question, my grade 6 and 7 year were hell, so me, for grade 8, I wasn't looking forward to it. I did, though, find a place where I belonged, and I've been with that place for 8, 9, 10, 11, 5 years? No!
And this is why we're socially awkward.
Exactly!
Going back to our story, without trying not to laugh and try and keep it serious, but that's who we are.
Give me a minute.
That's who we are. Going from the story without me going for it. Next time you can always use the pause button when you have to stop something. When I was growing up, grade 10, I basically did spend a lot of my lunches probably down in the library with one of my EAs, who was, well, she was always very straight with me, always treated me like I was one of the other students. She always was very straight with me. She always made sure, told me how things were, and everything was red as rain, basically. She was also used a lot of sarcasm around me, and it was kind of just helped me make who I am. But one day, she did end up actually calling me, saying that I was antisocial because she thought I had no friends, which was actually kind of true at the point because I didn't have anyone else to really hang out with. So she actually sent me up to one of the rooms that was kind of like a games club, which a few other friends or acquaintances I had before were there. Other people were there, and after that I became a part of that group, and the teacher who ran that club became my
friend. In a way.
In a way, yes, a friend. Yes, he became a friend and also became my mentor and has helped me to become who I am now, and to why I'm doing a podcast.
To add to the story, because I've been through the same thing, really, in a way. In grade 8, same teacher for the games club helped me out. If it wasn't for him, I don't know where I'd be today, so...
For both of us, we've both gone through similar things, but it's always a little tad different between how we are and who we are. And if he sounds pretty quiet whenever I'm talking, sounds a bit louder, it's because I'm wearing the headset. He's just in the room and my mic's pretty sensitive. So it works in that way. And that's just how we have this set up. So, yay. Back to the story where we were talking about when I was first in my grade 10. Once I got into that little games club, things just changed. And even after a while, one of the other resource teachers brought in one of his students, asked me if he could join because he heard about the room, and I said yeah. And a lot of friendships stayed and remained after that. After, I think, a little bit of time, things always change and things always move, because that's just how things go. And now that we're moving on to our little part in our podcast today, I'm going to give you guys a bit of a debate question for the comments below. The debate question is, what parts... No. That wouldn't be it. Our debate question would be, what is one thing in life that you always want to wish for? Like, if you ever gone like Rebel Lamp and get a genie, what are 3 things you would wish for, following those kind of rules that the genies usually would have? That would be it. And since my co-host unfortunately is not able to be with me for this part of the recording, since we do the recordings, it's all pre-recorded, so in case of issues, we're gonna have you guys, well, my only hint is for you guys can also follow me on Twitter at Chris_B64. And yeah, and also don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe on my YouTube, and you guys will see more videos of the podcast as well. Thanks for listening to our demo /pilot, and thanks so much.